I can't believe it. They lost yet another game. They really got played.
No, they got rammed.
Hey, I'm Shakira, the mother,
And I'm Jaeme, the son.
and this is Family Bonding, the G-Men post-game show, the mother and son. And I do believe we are the only mother and son that are doing a post-game show on YouTube. So how about that? Until someone else thinks they have a new idea and tries to do it themselves.
I've done my research. I haven't seen it in the other, so
Okay,
I
well,
think
it's on
it's
the
safe to
record.
say we're the first.
It's on the record. So what about those Rams?
Well, to be honest, I know in our last video I kind of hyped it up, and I was like, "Well, I think the Giants are gonna get killed." I really set the bar very low for our Giants, which is something I tried not to do, but I had to because I had to be prepared. No, I was expecting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was expecting at least 35 points plus for the Rams. At least I was thinking. I was thinking that we weren't going to be able to contain anything. I didn't think we were confident enough in our running game in terms of stopping those specific skill guys and Jared Goff with the play action. I didn't think we were going to be able to do anything about that. And then with the secondary, we don't have Jabril Peppers, somebody who is the leader in that regard. I thought that we were going to be all over the place. But when I saw the first drive, I mean, they had 6 first downs on the first drive, but I mean, it took them a long time. It was a long drive. And I noticed how long the game had been going on for because I looked up after commercial break and I was like, we're halfway through the game and the Giants only been on the field for like a minute and some change.
Mm-hmm.
And it occurred to me that the Rams were taking over. As usual, the Giants weren't able to do anything on offense. But defense couldn't really complain much. As usual, defense was coming in and holding it down until the very end.
Yeah, I think, defense definitely
Surprised me.
Yeah, but our offense definitely looked way better today.
Yes.
Obviously, it's extremely disappointing that they can't score touchdowns.
It aggravates me because since we had Odell Beckham, we've had those problems. Towards the end of the whole relationship with Odell Beckham, we had problems with finishing.
Entanglement with Odell Beckham.
The entanglement. We haven't been able to finish, and I don't understand why it is that we can't finish. We'll drive all the way down the field. We'll have a 45 freaking yard play, and then we get to the 20 yards in the red zone. We can't do anything. I don't know what it is about execution when we get into the red zone, but we're probably ranked the lowest in the league for that in the last 5 years. At least we can't be that much higher than the top or the last third, dead last. So
no, let's talk about top. Daniel Jones, number 2 for rush yards among quarterbacks. Right in front of him, Lamar Jackson.
Now,
how crazy is that?
It's crazy, but at the same time, this means that the Giants need to abuse that because I was watching very carefully. After they put that stat, I was like, Daniel Jones is not that much of a freakish athlete to be.
No, he's definitely not a freakish athlete. But
when you look at where he's getting the space from, they're not respecting him as a runner because he's not like a Lamar Jackson. They're just like, it's just Danny Dimes or whatever. It's Daniel Jones. I'm going to call him Daniel Jones until he can give me 3 touchdowns in a game. Daniel Jones.
Yes. Yeah. No.
So
Danny
they're like,
Dimes.
it's Daniel Jones. But when you look at those rushing plays where he's getting those yards, the whole middle of the field is open because the linemen, they're breaking their gaps. They're breaking their rules. They're supposed to contain certain gaps. But when you start losing respect for a team after weeks of watching them play and then you watch their tapes and everything, you tend to just try to say, all right, well, I can beat these guys. I'm going to get to the quarterback. And eventually, again, you start losing discipline. The Rams aren't necessarily a seasoned in terms of veteran team. They are a young team. They're just very talented.
Yeah, very talented.
And they made those mistakes. They were just opening the A and B gaps for him. And again, the secondary, they were just locking down all the receivers. They were not giving him nothing. They're like, okay, if all you want to, they're saying your only form of offense is the pass game, we'll just lock everybody up. Now, this is where the coaches need to come in and tell him, Danny, if you get 5 yards after every time you don't see anybody, those are guaranteed first downs. Because think about it.
Well, I think there was some of that already in this game today.
Definitely.
He was using his legs. He had no choice. He had no
No,
other
he really
option.
had no choice, but I'm glad to see more of that. He was very hesitant in the beginning, but he took some big hits today.
He did.
I'm
That makes
starting to
me
think he's not.
nervous.
I don't think he's afraid to take hits though. I really don't, because
I think he
most
wants to
quarterbacks
win. I think he wants to win.
does.
And because, at the end of the day, everybody's job is always on the line. You can't have, now it's 0-4. It's bad.
I can't say that this is all his fault though. That interception. Now, I want Giants fans. I want to say something because I know some of you probably like Daniel Jones sucks. Daniel Jones doesn't necessarily suck. I think what Daniel Jones is trying to do too much of is trying to be the hero because he doesn't have Saquon. He doesn't have Sterling Shepard. And new guys keep coming on to play in each game. It's just like it was last season, a disaster. But now here's the thing. Here's what's different. Daniel Jones already proved that he can play at the professional level last year. But now he's trying to exceed those expectations. And he can't because he doesn't have the weapons and he doesn't have the line to give him the time to do so.
No line.
So the reason why he threw that pick, I'm going to tell you what he saw and what I thought he saw. He saw.
You mean at the end?
Yeah, at the very end.
The final minutes.
The final minutes. It was the only turnover he had, but it was the one that hurt the most because it's what ended the game. What I saw that he saw was that his receiver was breaking off to go onto the outside. Now, what he didn't see because he was too locked in on the receiver is that the DB was waiting on the outside, and he came to cut off the route. It was almost like he let Daniel Jones believe that he was open.
Yeah.
And what happened is when you watch the replay from the DB's angle, like the announcer said, they saw that Daniel Jones was staring him down. Staring down a receiver is the quickest way to get yourself on the bench because that's one of the easiest ways to expose any quarterback. The best quarterbacks are the quarterbacks that can look off a DB to a different receiver and then from their peripheral see another wide receiver.
He's definitely not there yet.
No, he's not there, but he has to do better than what he did because I saw where he was throwing it and I didn't even see the receiver on screen. Like when they showed the replay, I could see who he was looking. He watched the whole route. He went like this. I saw it. He tracked the whole route and he didn't even look away. He just followed the whole route. But you want to know what it is? It's the pressure of trying to prove to an organization that he is the franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
The pressure to prove that the number 6 pick was worth it. And he just said, you know what? I'm going to just this is it. He knew the route was there, and it was. The problem is that the DB let him think it was open, and it just wasn't. He had it covered. So it's unfortunate. It's not the only thing that cost us the game, Giants fans. It's not. There were a lot of things that cost us the game.
There was a lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes.
A lot of follies, as I call them, Giants follies.
I'm looking at the stats. We had 5 sacks allowed. Is that Daniel Jones' fault, Mom?
No, that would be his line.
So 5 sacks to 2. The Rams only allowed 2 the whole game. We allowed 5. That needs to change. And I keep telling the Giants fans and telling you that the line needs to start incorporating, the offensive line coach, they need to start incorporating zone blocking. I saw a little bit of it, and I saw that when they were running it outside, there was a little more zone blocking, and it was working. But they need to stop with this. I don't know what they're trying to do. It looks like down blocking to me, but the blocking is not good. And they can't block for Daniel Jones. He has no time to throw. The pocket is always collapsing. But now, this is something that we should be happy about. You notice that Daniel Jones was running outside the pocket a lot?
Absolutely.
They probably told him, they're like, hey, your line is not really going to be able to contain for that long. So to compensate, we've added some plays, waggle. We used to call it in high school waggle. Where the quarterback runs out and gives himself that extra time to let the plays develop because they're trying to give him longer developing plays. And I feel like they're forcing it down our throats because they were using short, quick passing plays, and those were working. And then they tried to run it or throw it down the field 25 plus yards, and he doesn't have enough time to throw those plays. He doesn't even have time to read. He has to just run out of the pocket. So if we're going to improve, we need to start continuing to use more waggle or just having him running outside the pocket and bouncing out and incorporate the tight ends, please, because tight ends, those are bigger bodies. I don't know why we put our smallest wide receiver over the middle. I don't know why we do that. Why do we not just use the tight end size to our advantage?
I'm hoping that, again, 0-4. I'm hoping they make adjustments to deal with these issues you've just brought up. Mm-hmm. We cannot continue. And another thing, that you always mention is that what works in the first half is often abandoned in the second half.
Just for the Giants, just not for everybody.
I'm just talking about for the Giants.
Yes. Now, here's something that's puzzling to me. And I'm going to refresh the page because I find this hard to believe.
Do you think that the stats might change or something? What are you looking at?
I just can't believe what I'm seeing because it said the Giants had more time of possession with the ball than the Rams.
Yes, I did have that. That is, I can confirm that I heard that as well.
How is that possible?
They had more
And we
time of
have that
possession.
score, and I don't understand how that's possible.
Squandered opportunities, follies. But yes, we had more time of possession than the Rams, and they still won. So that is something. Believe me, that is going to haunt this week's team meetings.
We had
Is
more yards than them. We had more
yes,
total.
yes, yes. I was a little surprised that they were going over the stats at the very end, and I saw those numbers and was a little shocked as well. It's definitely, again, squandered opportunities. That is the theme of the season. And by the way, the theme of the last 4 seasons, at least. That and, field goal city. We can't win games with just kicking
And
the
the
ball,
timeout issue is starting to piss me off.
the uprights.
I just want you to know that the timeout issue is starting to piss me off. Why is it we always have one timeout left with a minute or 2 minutes left in the game?
Okay. So there were more at 4 minutes. I believe there were at least three, and then he started just ticking away at them. And but so there's timeout management. There's always some sort of management that needs to be done at the end of the game.
Right. Why aren't we calling plays that will get us out of bounds to stop the clock? Why is it that we're calling plays and using the receivers to run over the middle? Have him freaking run a slant or an out route. It stops the clock. You don't need to waste a timeout. I promise. This is something I do in video games all the time. It works. You
Perhaps
just run it out.
maybe they need to watch you playing video games.
It's just the play calling doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't make that be. Hey, look, it'd be kind of cool if it's a
James 94.
But like, they need to stop calling those types of plays and setting themselves up in these situations. Because I'm tired of seeing we have 1 minute and 30 seconds left and only one timeout. We should at least have 2 timeouts left in that situation, so that way we could use one in the emergency. But no. That's what forced Daniel Jones, in my opinion. I don't want to say forced, but that's what kind of probably made him throw the interception because of the lack of timeouts. So he's like, we got to get moving. He's open. Just throw it. Like, he didn't have enough time to actually really think and really read.
Yeah.
Which is why he made that mistake of staring down his route. And coaches always preach, never stare down your route.
That is something that, he still is, everybody keeps saying the same thing. He hasn't had a full season yet. These are all things that he's got to learn. He's got to get into his professional football groove, but
Right.
it's starting to get old. Okay. And at some point he's got to get it together, and we can't keep saying, we're now week 4. So we just completed the week 4 game. If it were preseason, I think we'd be done with preseason.
Right. But like, here's
keep using
what's
the
not
same.
Daniel Jones' fault though, because I don't want to just keep roasting Daniel Jones. He's tied for most rushing yards with our running back for today.
For today, yes.
The run game is
but he has the most on the team, by the way.
Yes, which is a problem. So it's not like Daniel Jones is. It's not that Daniel Jones is bad or underperforming. He can't perform at his full potential because we don't have a run game, and the run game is affected directly by our line. I don't think we have a good line. I'm gonna be genuinely honest. I thought that our line was looking good, but then there were some injuries. There were some injuries, and then I think we had to go get somebody at last minute.
There was a lot of last minute changes.
We tried to secure, I think, Jake Conklin. I can't remember the guy's name. One of the top tackles in the league. We were going to try to secure him, but we couldn't do that because he ended up signing with, I think, the Jets. I forget who, but somebody took him up before we could. So there were a lot of moves that were supposed to be made for the line that didn't happen, and you can see how it is affecting us right now because poor Daniel Jones is looking really bad right now.
Yeah.
And he did not look this bad last year, even with the record that he had.
It's true.
But it's really the fact that our line is just trash. It's trash.
I think this is like the second time, or at least I think we said that every week. It
might be the slogan for the rest of the season.
Anyway, as it relates to these GMs, we've had this. If Gettleman goes after this season, would be bringing on the third one in about 5 years. So that could be, it shows a lot of issues. The resets haven't worked.
It says a lot about New York sports in general because New York sports has been just a joke for a very, very long time.
Yeah, let's not go down that route. I have my whole other issues for the basketball in New York. So let's not go. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Let's not. Go there. Let's leave it where it's at. But for this one, tough. We got close, but again, couldn't finish. Can't win games with just field goals. So
Nope.
We hopefully we can move forward. I mean, and other teams are dealing with COVID. Who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the season. I've seen fans saying that they were hoping that there's a COVID scare on the Giants to give them some breathing room.
Jesus.
I think that's bad. That's when fans are desperate, when they start to.
Here's my problem.
Put those posts out there.
Games. Speaking of COVID, that's bothering me that fans are at the games.
There were no fans at this game, but there were fans. What was the Thursday night game?
I think,
were a lot of fans.
and today, I forget. I think it was the Cowboys and the.
Yeah, there were
lots of fans. They were way too.
Cowboys,
it gave me anxiety, and I'm just glad the Browns won. I'm glad.
It looked like they were clustering the fans as families, because when they showed them, but
it's a big family. I saw a couple hundred people. I don't know. Everybody was.
Well, when they got close on, but they were in the very front row, so those people probably just, I don't know. Those were probably their seats. I don't know how they did it, but not all. Like in New Jersey, the MetLife, the governor has not allowed fans in stands.
As he shouldn't.
He has not. But it looks, in Texas though, which was where they were playing today.
Yes.
They're wide open. They've been open.
Yeah, they didn't care.
They're wide open with.
They're living their best lives over there.
So you're right. The fans, hopefully fans will stay safe, and
did the Eagles?
The players will stay safe. The Eagles play tonight.
They said, oh, they play tonight. Well, let's just hope that they don't win either.
The Cowboys lost, Giants lost.
I think the Redskins. I keep calling it the Washington football team.
Washington football.
Sorry, YouTube.
It'll keep happening until it just is ingrained in your brain.
I've known that name since I was a kid. So
I know
it's very difficult.
It's very challenging, and rebranding is always hard.
Yeah.
But we can only, I don't know that I have any additional hope for the season, but we'll just take it week by week. I just like to, this week was better. Still no win, but we need to score touchdown.
Just one freaking touchdown. Like, holy hell. Can we get one? I'm not asking for a lot. One touchdown is not a lot. But
exactly.
Apparently it is when you're the New York Giants.
It's a stretch, apparently.
And Joe Judge, I feel like Joe Judge might be curling in his seat a little bit. Might be a little.
I would be nervous with him, but he seems to be very positive.
I don't think they'd give him the boot though, given the circumstances. This year, I don't know. This year's a little different from every other year.
Yeah, I think they maybe would give him another chance.
There's something there.
There's something there.
Yeah,
there's something good there.
He just needs to work on the timeouts.
Yeah, it's got to figure out
a couple other things, but they got to fix the line.
Got to fix the trashy line. All right, well, that's another episode of Jaeme Family Bonding. Like I said, we're in a wait and see position. If you like this, please, subscribe, and please, share and like this video. We really appreciate it. And, please add some comments. Let us know what you're thinking. We really appreciate that. We'll respond back. And we'll see you next time. Take care.